Do you remember when you first became interested in the fandom? Maybe it was playing Sonic the Hedgehog, or perhaps you were watching Robin Hood and thought to yourself, wow, I really like these walking, talking animals. But where did the fandom start? I'm Ash Coyote, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the history of the furry fandom. The furry fandom got its start in the late 1980s at a science fiction con where enthusiasts of anthropomorphic characters met up. They began to form discussion groups on the internet and later released fanzines like Yarf focusing on furry characters. It wasn't until 1989 that we saw our own conventions popping up. Conventions coupled with wider access to the internet really helped to grow our subculture. The 90s began to propel the fandom forward. Now is a good time to talk about how media influenced a lot of early furs. Films like Disney's animated classic Robin Hood or The Lion King in my generation acted as a catalyst for a lot of us. In fact, it was those two films that really sparked my interest in anthropomorphic characters in the first place. In case you don't know, anthropomorphic characters are essentially animals that walk and talk like people. It was during the 90s that we saw a huge influx of media featuring anthro characters. This only contributed to the ever-growing fanbase, and since the fanbase existed around ideas based in fantasy, we began to see a lot of artists popping up in the fandom to share their interpretations of these ideas. You see, the furry fandom and art go hand in hand. It'd be hard to have one without the other. To the outside world, a lot of folks think fursuits are our primary form of expression, but really it's the artistic culture that drives our fandom forward. The late 90s and early 2000s ushered in a lot of websites that cater to the furry fandom exclusively. Here's a fun fact for you. The first furry convention happened in 1989, and it was called Conference Zero. It was held in California. Now, we have over 160 conventions worldwide. That's insane! I think it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. Fursuits. Fursuit makers exploded onto the scene with a myriad of styles in the 2000s, and in a huge way. Fursuits really became the image that the media ran with. I mean, I don't blame them. It's pretty rad to see several thousand fursuiters running around a convention space. It is important to note that fursuits have been around a lot longer than the 2000s. I'm merely marking it as the tipping point for their representation in the fandom. I have personally been a part of the fandom since the 90s, and each year I'm excited to see so many new faces, new suits, and new artists. It's such a wonderful community to be a part of. I would love to hear how the fandom has influenced you in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, if you like what I do, please click subscribe.